Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you over there, my bro? Rolling in a bit of luck as we speak.
And
Just getting a few free spins.
And some luck, a couple of free spins here and there, which has been pretty tasty, which is,
helpful.
We're not the next Tim Mackey, but
It's not.
We're not
manifesting a million just yet.
But maybe one day we can look to have a little change of career. It would be nice to see the luck turn into the Tigers there a little bit now. It's been hard yak in the last few weeks for the old Tigers. But Gunners are still winning, so
I suppose the only thing to go with that Tigers positive, the Gunners are still winning. Spurs are matching the Tigers' L streak at the moment. 4 in a row each.
They've been playing poorly, but just nice as well to Saturday night there. Sit there, watch
4 games in a row.
Watch 3 games of the league, straight into a Gunners game. Haven't had a Gunners game at that kick-off time for a long time, I feel. So it was really nice to be able to sit there, watch a game live, and know you've got to sleep in there on your Sunday. But it's been good. We've had a couple of days of some nice sun. We're still cranking away for swims. We're up to day 129. So we're into the second third of the year. The water's getting chillier.
The coldest third of the year, certainly.
We got you into the water there on Saturday.
It was alright. It was definitely brisk.
It's brisk, there's no doubt about it. The last few days have been
abrasive, that's what I said,
Abrasive, it's rough. The last few days have been nice because the tide's been in the evening there, a couple of high tiders. It's been nice. It's been a good week, but there's been plenty of footy on still, and a couple of blokes making their way into the old TGIF team of the week for the first time. I believe maybe just one actually in the end there. But starting off your team of the week this week, we've gone for Teddy at fullback. A pretty solid game there for the Roosters.
With all this Origin talk that is certainly looming, Teddy might just be hitting a little bit of form at the right time. Certainly showed it up against the Bronx there on was it Thursday night? Friday night? Friday night. And joined in a back three with hat-trick hero Jermaine Isako and Philip Sami, who also bagged himself a try. Unlucky to be on the losing side there, but hell of a performance.
Yeah, definitely unlucky.
Titans around the Storm Plus in that one.
Yeah, very unlucky the Titans there to lose that one. Obviously, losing by 2 in the end there. But he got himself a try, and then Isako getting himself a heady. So you couldn't leave him out. Your 2 centres this week, we've gone from Iro. I'm not too sure pronunciation wise.
Iro, I presume.
Iro, I think. And Gagai, who was playing some of his best footy, I thought there, in a pretty poor game on Sunday afternoon there.
Yeah, definitely some foul weather about in the New South Wales region on Saturday.
Poor weather, the pitch was in pretty poor condition, and I don't think either team, Warriors or the Knights, played their best footy. And the Knights kind of lucky that the Warriors didn't want to win it, I think was more what it was. It was the Warriors lost it rather than the Knights winning it in that one, but Gagai was immense, I thought. So that's your back 5. Pretty tasty looking back 5. Iro there on debut, I believe. Joining them, halves pairing, we've opted for Nikorima and Hines. We missed Hines out there last week, so we couldn't leave him out after his escapades there on the weekend. And Cody Nikorima making his way, and possibly first appearance of the year, maybe.
Yeah, I'd probably say that with a bit of confidence. Definitely not first
Not a debut,
time.
but first of the year, I'd say.
Yeah, he's been recalled back into the TGIF team of the week after a pretty good performance. Good grind from the Dolphins to get the Cowboys back late there. And yeah, Nico Hines, speaking of Origin talk, he's certainly doing all the right things to make himself in that window for Madge and that sort of number 6 jersey debate. But yeah, those guys, your halves, rounds out a pretty good looking backline, I must say, as always. And then into the forwards, we start with Terrell May. Now one of 3 May brothers to
would have been
score.
Would have been a great bet to get on.
Shout out to all the punters that did get on that.
First weekend of May, all 3 May brothers.
Definitely some omenry.
Yeah, 2 NRL tries and a Super League try in there. It would have been an awesome bet to get on. I can imagine it would have been paying decent enough. I think I've got Terrell May involved again this week for a try, and I believe he's coming in around like a $6.80 mark.
I was going to say double digits potentially, but he's
that might have been slightly higher. That might have been slightly higher last week. So maybe you're looking at like an 8.50. Talon probably not as high.
Yeah, definitely around that sort of late $1s to $2 mark.
And then I have to tell in the Super League because it's tries galore over there. So like, cunts could be paying $1.20 to score a try. There's not that much.
Don't really look into the Super League market.
Not much defence that goes on over there in the Super League. I've seen looking at some of the scores. So, but yeah, Terrell May making his way into the team of the week and joined in there. We didn't have one last week. You've bolted him up this week. Kind of customary. We had to get him in there. James Fisher-Harris, your double barrel, your meat and bread winner,
Yeah, definitely not the performance of his career, you'd say, but just stock standard from Fisher-Harris there. And as you say, you got to get a double barrel involved. So I guess it was our best opportunity to do so after last week's shambles. Jayden Brayley goes in between them. Had a hell of a game there for the Knights.
Yep, yeah, probably one of the one shining stars of that game there. Sort of got himself involved. Good game for a hooker. One of those games, in the nitty gritty, and it's shit conditions. But yeah, had a very good game there for the Knights. Probably one of the ones shining lights from that performance there Sunday afternoon. Joining them in the forward pack, we've opted for the Englishman Elliot Whitehead. Got himself a double, sort of turned the game around there for Canberra. Another game where Manly kind of lost it. I feel they didn't deserve to win, and they were in it for quite a wee while. And Angus Crichton also got himself a try, and I think brought up the triple digits in fantasy, I believe. At one stage there was on 103, I think. So pretty good effort, and I believe he's had a negative break even, so would have made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who had him involved in those super
tried to bring him
fantasy teams.
Didn't have the we call it the moolah to be bringing him in. My team's fucked already, so we had to get rid of a couple of people. I actually brought in Hines and Marnie last week, so that was the way I went. But those two, Whitehead and Crichton, your 2 second rowers, and Isaiah Yeo taking that lock spot. A Cleary-less Panthers team, often you see Yeo take the reins a bit more, and that's kind of what we saw. Pretty solid performance there from Isaiah on the weekend.
Yeah, very good from Isaiah, and also pretty shit from South as well.
Yeah, kind of expected though, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. The
big game, Hornby's first game in charge up against Penrith. They were 12-0 up. They scored 2 tries there.
Yeah.
To start off. And I'm in there. I was actually throwing a few darts, and then I heard the 2 tries, and I thought I better go out there and watch this game if the Bunnies are going to run away with it like this. And then sort of went out, and then that's when they had their sin bin and went back to 12-all, and then Penrith sort of ran away with it.
Yeah. Definitely the story of South Sydney. They were fit enough for the first good enough for the first 20, and then the fitness seemed to sort of let them down there, particularly once that sin bin did happen. Only got ugly from there for South Sydney. But yeah, Isaiah rounds out that team. As we always say, a pretty tasty looking side. Into the footy for this week then, I suppose. Starting off with a Thursday night. Dolphins hosting the Manly Sea Eagles.
Dolphins taking that Thursday night Suncorp game that we often see. Dolphins there as the home team rather than Brisbane. Up against Manly, you're right. Now the Dolphins coming away with the dubs in that Queensland derby last week. And as we just said before, Manly having a bit of a collapse. 2 points in it in both games there last week, so both were close. I feel like the Dolphins put in a really solid performance there to come up with the win against the Cowboys there. Obviously a hammerless Dolphin side, but Trey Fuller, he's in there, he's been playing some awesome footy. And Manly are kind of the opposite end of the scale on the weekend. They riddled with errors, lots of silly decisions, and kind of handed the game to Canberra. So they're going to have the work cut out for them, I think, Manly. They need a little bit of something to turn them around a wee bit.
Yeah, the Dolphins were definitely impressive, I thought, in that one against North Queensland. Down a few star players, but still managed to hang in there, even though North Queensland did take the lead a couple of times, potentially early on, a couple of tries, and then just fought their way back all game, and just hung in there for the 80 and came out with the late try to pull it off there in the last 10, I believe.
Yes, maybe something like that.
Definitely stuck in there a bit more than North Queensland towards the end, which is really impressive considering the troops they've got out at the moment. A number of their star men.
Quite a few injuries there
on the sideline. Yep. Hammer, the star man, of course, but also missing the likes of Gilbert. Was Flegler playing?
I think possibly still out
as well.
A couple of big names missing. Obviously Hammer there, one of the big blows obviously for them, but doing the job, and I feel like it's a tough one, this one here. Manly have got the quality.
I think the best of Manly is definitely better than the best of Dolphins. Both sides showing a little bit of inconsistency at this stage of the season. Some really good performances and some pretty shocking ones from both sides as well. So tough to know what you're going to get on a Thursday night, but I think Wayne will have the boys up for a Thursday night game at Suncorp, and Manly we're desperate to avenge last week sort of choking there when you go up to a 20-0 lead. You don't expect to come have yourself reeled in, 26-24, so they'll be desperate for a bounce back. I'm
sure they'll be after 80 minutes. I'm sure that's what Seabold's going to be wanting.
Yep.
You know, they played one half of footy, second half they didn't show up. I think Olaquatu they hugely missed last week. 2 weeks was he out for? Was he out this week as well?
Was it a 2 week early plea for him, or was it a 3 weeker? It might be a 3.
Definitely out this week then, is he? I know that was probably, I'd say, one of their biggest not playing. And they, I mean, no offence, but Corey Waddell doesn't really bring the same oomph as Hamole or Kawatu. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. So I'm going Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins 1-12 in a close one into one of the men in form, Trey Fuller. It's going to be $8.28.
Not too bad there, not too bad at all. I've just gone for 3 try scorers. Again, the old, well, not so much old, but the new TGIF classic, I suppose. Tommy Turbo, Ruben Garrick, and Jackie Bostock, $9.05.
Yep, nothing wrong with that at all. The old triple threat there. That's your Thursday night. We roll on into a little bit of Friday night footy, and you kick off with Penrith up against Penrith, really, isn't it? Penrith up against the Doggies. All of the expats there being shipped out of the Panthers, joining the likes of teams like the Canterbury Bulldogs. So you are going to see some of the old troops up against their old team there. Now, both teams coming away with a win last week, both pretty different end results. Penrith obviously having a huge one up against the pretty poor Bunnies, and the Doggies coming away with the win against my Tigers, up against a team who seem to be struggling to score any more than 14 points this year, apart from that win we had up against the Sharkies. So it's a game of old, I was going to say old foes, but old friends. Friends turned foes in this one here. So interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to it, I got to say.
Yep, lots of ex-teammates going up against each other in this one. The Doggies are obviously managing to snag a few of Penrith's talented players over the years, last couple of years particularly. Coming off that win against the Tigers where I think we talked just before, the referee definitely the star of the show there in terms of the headlines, and not good headlines for Casey Badger.
Some terrible calls from Casey Badger.
Unfortunately, yeah, you don't like to
both sides of the coin.
Exactly. Like you could have had a couple of extra sin bins each.
Yeah, 100%. Caesar should have been off the field.
A handful
should have been off the field.
A handful of dodgy penalties / non-penalties in that one. So
first time I've seen a team win 3 captain's challenges in a game. Another commentator said that. When was the last time that happened? I don't think I've ever possibly seen it. Nothing springs to mind. And the fact that it's the Tigers winning all 3. And one I thought was a bit, maybe don't challenge that one, but the other 2 were definite. It was like the ref was just trying to go against whatever team it was that was sort of blowing up, So a couple of shocking calls. You could say star of the show there. They're going to have their wits about them a bit more. The Doggies in this one up against a pretty strong Penrith side. Still no Nathan Cleary. Is he still out?
I think he's been named. So whether or not
it's a risky one, the old hammy though. It's one of those niggly
you don't want to be rushing a bloke like Cleary back.
No, not at all. Not when you're Penrith either. It's different if he's your one man team.
One man band, yeah.
You're all right without Cleary for a couple of extra weeks. Really, Penrith. It doesn't matter if Penrith finish 1st or 4th. Probably still going to be most teams' favourites to go on and win it. They could probably do it from 8th. If they were missing Cleary, it had that big of an impact. I think. But they're going to have their wits about them. The Doggies in this one, it's going to be tough for them.
100%. It's definitely going to be very tough. They've shown a hell of a lot of improvement this year, the Doggies, but still don't think they're quite up to the challenge of pulling off a big win out at Penrith, particularly if Nathan Cleary does end up playing. But you never know. I guess stranger things have happened.
Yep.
But it is hard to go past Penrith in this one. But there's not really too much value on them, which is why I believe we've both gone for
just check some try scores
involved and see what's spat out in terms of odds. We're both bringing in double digits. I've gone for 2 ex-Penrith Panthers
I like the look of your one,
up against their old team, Stephen Crichton and Viliame Kikau, both to score. It's going to bring you $29.87.
I really like the look of that one. That's some very tasty value there. I've got a bit of a Tigers theme with my one. I've only just picked up on that there after you've said that. I've gone for 2 players that played for the Tigers and one that is heading there next year, Taruva, and then Garner and Addo Carr to cross the try line, $15.81. So, yeah, your one looks a lot tastier there.
A lot tastier in terms of value, but yeah, it's a lot easier to see Penrith scoring a couple of tries than the Doggies, but you never know. I'm sure everyone will be fired up.
Yeah, 100%. Huge occasion when it's Penrith 2019 versus Penrith 2024, or Penrith 2020 versus 24. So yeah, that's a huge one to kick off your Friday night.
Should have chucked Mandy Burton in there as well. That would reduce it up a lot.
You would have juiced it up a little bit there. That'll lead you into the Eels up against the Broncos. Now the Eels coming away with a jammy 2 points there last week against the bye, taking the win at a time when possibly maybe many would have thought they might have lost to the bye. They're not in the best of form. Hard without Mitch Moses, but a Mitchell Moses-less para team very well could have lost to the bye there. So
easily
they'll take the 2, and they're up against this Broncos team who got put to the sword up against the Roosters there on Friday.
Yeah, well, I guess the story for both sides coming off last week is injuries. Parramatta Gutho has gone to have a little bit of a clean out of the knee, I believe.
Yep.
So he'll be on the sidelines for a number of weeks. I guess lucky for them, one of them was the bye, but they managed to come up with the win anyway, as you mentioned. So shout out to them. But the Broncos, they weren't able to pull off a win against a Chooks side running pretty hot, racking up their 100th point of the last fortnight. And Adam Reynolds, the big story of that one, he's torn his bicep. He'll be out for 10 to 12 weeks, I believe it is. So it's going to be a tough stretch for the Broncos.
Changes the equation a little bit, doesn't it, for Brisbane?
Brings them back into the field a little bit more, but I still think they've got enough troops running around to pick up a few wins here and there.
They'll need a big couple of months from Ezra Mam. I'm sure he'd like to think he'll step up. Payne Haas is back now, which is good for them.
Josh Rogers named in halves this week with Ezra, but yeah, you're right, Payne Haas. He'll be having to lead the team strong. They've got plenty of others. Reece Walsh will be, I'm sure, lifting his game with Reno out. Didn't have the best of games as well up against the Chooks there, obviously. Not too many of the Broncos did, and you can probably excuse them having a bad performance after the last month or so.
Yeah.
They've been pretty hot coming into that game, and it's a good chance for them to bounce back against a Moses-less and Gutho-less Parramatta side. So unless Dylan Brown can go out there and have a game like we know he can, it's tough to see Parramatta throwing up too much of a challenge. They've got the home advantage though, so
that's about it going for them. And the fact that they're fresh, I think, is gonna it's hard. The bike can either help or hinder. You can lose your momentum, or it can come at a good time.
Rumours are that it was a physical game up against the bye, so a few of the boys are feeling a bit sore, carrying a couple of niggles.
Based off of those rumours, we've both gone for Brizzy this week. I've gone for the Broncos 13 plus. They're going to bounce back into the big boy Xavier Willison to dot over the try line, 9.63.
Not bad. Decent value on that one. I'm picking it to be a little bit closer. I'm picking Parramatta to come out and have a strong backs against the wall performance, but not quite get up against the class of the Brisbane outfit. 1 to 12 for Brisbane. Ricky to cross the line anytime. $10.15 you're going to get for that.
Yeah, a little bit more money in the bank there in that one. Second week in a row, we've got the Tigers kicking off your Super Saturday, taking that 5 o'clock slot. Off to Tamworth, off to Scully Park, and we're up against the Knights now. Obviously, on the wrong end of the results there last week against the Doggies, we've already touched on it there. A little bit of refereeing issues, but doesn't really excuse the fact that we were pretty poor. We seem to be very reliant on Api Coruscant. No disregard to Simpkin, but he's pretty poor compared to Api. So that's a big loss. John Bateman leads the team out. I know he had a very good fantasy-related game, but he's an absolute idiot. He's taken the captaincy with that game there with Api out, and 2 or 3 stupid decisions that he makes, like he always does, little brain explosions. But yeah, just not capitalising on opportunities when we're playing good footy. You dominate for 10 minutes or so and don't come away with any tries, So it's hard. We're not scoring any points really. So we're going to have to be up for it against this Knights team. And as we said before, one a little bit of a grubby game in the wet up against the Wars.
Yeah, the wet is a bit of an understatement. It was pretty foul there at stages in that Newcastle game. The ground looked like ideal for sort of skimboarders early in the day.
Yep.
I saw some pictures there. Maybe not rugby league players. Definitely not athletes to get up to top speed. I definitely prefer a dry track for that. But they came away with the win, the Newcastle side. They've managed to pick up a couple of wins sort of unexpectedly with Kalen Ponga out on the sidelines, but a number of their other players raising the bar a little bit, picking up a couple of wins. As you said earlier, potentially it was the Warriors just sort of throwing that one away with a few silly errors, a few silly penalties and the like. But credit to Newcastle, and the Tigers, as I said, unfortunately coming off the 4th loss in a row, taking them down into 15th, which leaves the Wars, Dragons and Tigers now 13th, 14th, 15th after such promising starts to the season.
Not good, is it?
Rahman was saying, so yeah, shout out to him. Unlucky for the Wars, but also unlucky for the Tigers and Dragons.
It's
but we're looking to bounce back. It's a good chance for them to bounce back.
We're 9 rounds in. You're right, it is. It's a good time to bounce back. Is Ponga back for this game?
No, he's long-term injured,
long-term,
Yeah, he's long gone. He won't be back till potentially after Origin.
A Ponga-less Knights team is that's always good. Who's
We've got Fazal, Croker, Saifidi.
What a name!
Mapapalangi.
I don't think I've heard of him. Armstrong looks good though at the back there.
Yeah, he looks like a good player, but he's no bowler.
We've had to bring old fucking your mate back into the team, Bud Sullivan. With Caesar Uppy's back involved.
To be fair, that's the key for you guys. Like with Uppy there, I think you'll be a lot better. Alex Lobb, that's a
scroll down. Where's Alex Lobb?
He must be on the reserves.
Tyler Silva. He's our winger. He kicks as well.
Okay.
For the under what do you think? The Magpies.
Solomon.
So Kiba Owen had a good game when he came in and played second row. Sorry, scroll back up. So who's on the wing? Stafford Towers come in and taken Alai Molo's spot, so he's back. Okay. So he had a good game last time out, so up against his old team. Maybe that's a little bit of an omen there, but we're both back in the Tigers this week, which is good to see. You've gone for an old favourite of mine, Tigers 1-12 into Buller 7.55.
Yep, can't go wrong.
And I've swapped Buller out there for Uppy coming back into the lineup, showing the team what they were missing out on. Gets himself a try at 11.72.
So not too shabby.
A couple of close Tigers wins. That's what we're after there on Saturday. Next up on the chopping block, we've got the Dragons up against the Bunnies now. Your lads rolling on out, primetime spot there for us Kiwis. Both on the losing side last week. Your Dragons unable to keep that early lead that you had on there, and was it 10-4 at one stage, I think it was?
Might have been 10-4, 10-6.
10-4, 10-6. And
it was
the
10-6.
Sharkies coming away off the win there in the end, and obviously, yeah, the Bunnies continuing this poor run of form. Hornby's first game in charge, getting dicked by the Panthers. So, Hornby first game, second game in charge, but first time coaching up against the team that he won the minor not the minor premiership, the grand final with.
Well, he did win a minor premiership with them as well in 2009.
Not that year though, eh?
Not the same year. No, it was the following year we won the premiership. But yeah, Benny Hornby, shout out to him. Bit of a Dragons legend. Certainly since we merged, you'd say he'd be up there as one of our top legends. Over 250 games for the club, won us a premiership, but unfortunately I won't be rooting for him this week.
No, somehow I don't see you doing that. Big game for him though, big game.
Yeah.
Bunnies are in a load of strife. It's kind of it's very, I don't know what the word is that you could use. I was going to say unheard of. Unheard of is not the right word. It's definitely a huge shock to see the Bunnies playing the way that they are.
It's very weird, but like the signs have been there since they fell off last year. Really, like they haven't been good, and I'm pretty sure in the last year the only teams they've beaten are like us, the Titans, and the Doggies.
There you go, wow. So
they've beaten us twice, they've beaten you twice, the Doggies and Titans I think once each in the last year. So pretty crazy stuff. That might be wrong. I think I just saw it on Instagram. I was like, oh, that's loose, but sounds like it checks out.
Sounds about right, yeah.
They haven't picked up too many wins. Another heavy defeat on the weekend, and also a defeat for the Dragons, but definitely a bit of a bounce back in terms of performance. We're in the fight, which you couldn't say that about the week before against the Chookies. So, unfortunately, sliding down to 14th on the ladder, but we're not in the position that Souths are in at the moment. So hopefully that leads us to a game where we can come out and play some good footy and get on top of the side for once. Well, not for once, but
for a wee while it's been been tough running for the old Drags.
It's been tough running, and we've gotten on top of sides, but unexpectedly so.
This is a game that
you expect the Dragons to win. It'd be nice if we could come away with a win.
Have you gone for a little Zach Lomax kit photo shout out there in terms of the Dargans?
Jack Bird's
150th
jersey,
the old Dargans.
That was a bizarre thing on his jersey.
Lomax, right, Bird there. Yeah, it was quite bizarre, the old Dargans.
I can't believe that no one fucking saw that.
It's nuts, eh? Big from you as well. You said possibly the first time you've ever seen Dragons 13 plus
as the favourite margin.
Being the favourite margin. It has probably been a while since that has been the case, but when you're up against the Bunnies team, playing the way they are, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's hard to see anything but a 13 plus, no matter who the Bunnies are playing at the moment. They could come up against the Titans of a few weeks ago, and you'd be pretty hard pressed to be picking Souths as a winner based on their current form. I believe Cameron Murray is also out, injured.
Okay, so that's a big loss.
They get Latrell back, which is good news for them, I suppose, depending which way you look at it. It's the sort of game I think Latrell would come out and have a good game up against the Dargans. maybe if the Dragons show up, we'll be alright.
You
But
might
if the
be right.
Dragons show up, we're
you,
no good.
you're screwed. As you've stuck with your faithful, you've gone for 13 plus. Not
13
paying
plus,
too much.
270 this week.
270. You kind of have to get
The
on
punters out there
Nice
might have to go
see.
and pass all that in with a few try scorers to find any value, but nice and simple.
I've had to go against the grain. I haven't won a bet in such a long time, and I feel like this is probably the reason why, because I often do go against the grain. But as I've said, Ben Hornby up against his old club, the team that he won it with. Hard showing up in your first game coming up against Penrith, but this is probably a game where he's saying to the lads, look, we can go out there and show them what we're all about. So I'm going Souths 1-12 into Cody Walker to cross over the try line. $9.17. Ideally, I don't want it to come off because I want the Bunnies to keep losing so that we can stay ahead of them. But it means I give you the extra $9. We'll take it.
Maybe we'll look to do a trade-off with the rugby league odds. Let Nance bet from the previous game come off, and then we can write off that one for this game. So you get the win, and Souths don't have to. But moving on to that final game for Saturday. Looks to be a very juicy one based on the way things are shaping up this season for both sides. Game of the round. Melbourne up against
Good
Cronulla.
game of the round. The Storm up against the Sharkies. Both teams coming away with dubs there on the weekend, obviously, as we already spoke about. The Storm coming away with that little lucky win there. 2 points in it. Titans were looking the better team by a country mile. We saw a lovely little try there from AJ Brimson at one stage, ripped through them, but big talking point about this game, Pappenhausen limping off, injured, unable to put full pressure down on his foot there when you see him in the shed. So it's not a nice sight to see for anyone who's involved in rugby league. He's a freak of a player, and it's kind of like Tommy Turbo 2.0 written all over him, you know. Could be one of those players that spends more time in his career injured than he does playing.
Yeah, it's a sad thing. I believe it's another broken ankle. I think the plate might have broken the.
I think so. They were talking a little bit about what do you call it? They used to love dropping it. Syndesmosis. They were saying that was being thrown around a little bit there in the commentary, but I think you're right. Broken ankle. Whether we see a fully fit Pap again, huge question. We've seen this year Tommy Turbo at the moment keeping himself injury free, but yeah, it'll be scary for Pap coming back in. Every time he goes into attack, you'll be worried he's going to end up pulling up injured. So they're going to miss him in this game. It'll be a big loss, especially at a time when Nico Hines and the Sharks are sort of running rampant. He's looking pretty on form at the moment, Hinesy.
Yeah, the Sharkies, as we just mentioned, beating the Dargans 20-10. Nico Hines, pretty much star of the show for Cronulla there. Their outside backs are insane as well. I think as a combo, Katoa and Mulatalo, potentially one of the most underrated wing pairings.
I'd say since they've played together, they'd be up there with, like, in terms of tries scored per pairing, you know what I mean, in a period, you know, minimum 50 games played together or something like that, you know, they'd be well on their way. 50 games, that's a lot of games. We'll say, you know, 20 games played together or something like that. Very, very underrated. Mulatalo, he's still top of the try scoring ranks at the moment, I think.
I believe so.
But you're right, definitely game of the round territory, this one here. Both teams still, was it 1 and 2 on the table still?
Cronulla definitely won.
Storm, are they still sitting there? And
Cronulla, Storm should be, unless maybe there was a bit of points difference movement.
Yeah, it is. 1 versus 2. The only two teams to have only lost the one game each. It's big game. Obviously, Sharkies points different, a hell of a lot better than Melbourne's there at the moment. But I think this is going to be an awesome game. It's definitely one to kick on to. You've got to stay up and watch your third game when it's a game like this. It's a flip of a coin from us this week, isn't it? I've gone one way, you've gone the other. I'm going for the away team in this one, going for the Sharkies to come away with a win, 1-12, close game, into the man of the moment for them, Nico Hines, and always tends to be quite high up in the old try scoring.
He's always tempting, eh?
He's always very tempting. I think he was sitting at $5 something, so $13.25 that comes in it. So I gotta say I like my luck there.
Yeah, up against his old side, so we'll see if that one comes off on the day. I'll be hoping it doesn't, because I've gone Melbourne 1-12 into far longer. Pappy's replacement there at the back, $6.53, so not as juicy, but the boy can move. That's one thing.
No doubt he can
about
move. No doubt he can move. Looked awesome, scored himself a great try
off the scrum,
stepped outside them. It was very, very
bamboozling with his footwork.
Yeah, very, very good try. I mean, what do we? It is a bit of a flip of a coin, I think. First versus second.
You've got Cronulla have probably been playing the better footy over the year. Melbourne probably scraping a few more wins than Cronulla have, but also I think Melbourne have probably had a tougher draw so far. Up at home as well, so yeah, really not too much to sort of split the sides going into that one. So hopefully
one team will be sitting there.
Golden Point written all over it this one.
Golden Point would be ideal. We'll have one team sitting there on 20 points there into this week.
20 or 18?
I think
they were both 16.
Did that say 16? 8
wins from 9 rounds, yeah.
Yep, you're right. 8 wins?
8 wins or 7 and a bye?
Was it?
One of them maybe.
7 and a bye, you're right, yep, 16 points. But one team, 2 points clear come the end of Saturday night. It's your Super Saturday. Getting yourself involved in a little bit of Sunday Arvo footy. You kick off, Warriors in that same slot again, up against the Roosters. Now, the Roosters playing some awesome footy, coming up against the Warriors at a very good time where they're struggling to not just put 80 minutes together, they seem to be struggling to put about 40 minutes together, the Warriors at the moment. It's not clicking for them.
Definitely not. After what was a reasonably encouraging start to the season, they hung in there for a few games. They weren't playing their best. They certainly weren't playing like this though. Things just seem to be getting progressively worse for the Warriors over the weeks. They've slipped down into 13th spot on the ladder, which isn't what many people would pick them to be at this stage of the season. And it's going to be a tough one to bounce back coming up against the in-form side of the comp of the last 2 weeks.
We've got the Roosters, and then I think they play Penrith possibly the week after. So it's looking tough for the Warriors. I had them sort of sitting at the edge of the 8 there. I didn't think they were living up to last year's standards, but in the battle, that's for sure. And they're really struggling at the moment, the Warriors. So it's not a good time to come up against the Roosters. As you said before, 100 points to scoring points for fun. So it's hard for the Warriors. They put up quite a few kicks there on the weekend and didn't contest any of them, which I thought was very weird. And they seem to forget that Dallin was out there. He scored one try. Did that get disallowed? I can't remember. Was that the week before that he had that try disallowed? I'm pretty sure he crossed the try line maybe twice. One that counted, one that didn't. I'm not too sure. Either way, it seemed like they forgot he was there because he didn't get the ball very much, and they'd go down to the right and then end up kicking back out to the left again and not going up for it. So it is a slightly weird one. And it's a tough time for the Warriors to come up against the Roosters. They're really going to have their work cut out for them in this one.
100%. Yeah, Roosters at home as well, I believe. I think that's why I put them in that order on the notes. But
yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not
check.
at Mount Smart.
We're on here, just down a bit, I was going to say. Mount Smart, you reckon?
That's not at Mount Smart.
Allianz.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, very very hard to see the Warriors getting up in this one. So yeah, I've gone for the Roosters, not 13 on the dot, 13 plus, into Stephen Crichton and Joey Manu to score. $10.22 that's going to get you. But you're bringing the value in this one.
I'm bringing the value in this one. I've gone for I believe 3 blokes that crossed the try line last week. Did Joey Manu have a try? May, as we said before, got himself a try, and Angus Crichton. If those 3 can cross the try line again this week, it's going to bring in 46.78. So that's very, very tasty.
Yeah, juicy odds on that one.
You chuck $2 on that, and a little price boost, you're bringing in 3 digits home. So, like the look at that one there, that's for sure. That's your penultimate game there for the round. We finish off with another Queensland derby. They're popping up left, right and centre. The Gold Coast Titans up against the North Queensland Cowboys now. Both teams losing close games. We've got a reverse fixture, don't we? No, we don't. Melbourne don't play the Dolphins. But both teams... Oh, they don't, but... No, let's see the Manly Raiders game as well. I just saw that and thought we had a slight reverse fiction there, but both teams losing by 2 last week. Can one of these 2 teams turn around their form? The Titans looking pretty good up against Melbourne. We said it already, they were unlucky to lose in the end there, but losing to a penalty goal. And the Cowboys, it's been a weird old season for the Cowboys, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Cowboys, I mean, for me it just seems to be a case of not really being able to put that full 80 minutes together. They got out to a couple of leads against the Dolphins, but ended up getting reeled in both times, if not more. I can't quite remember how many lead changes there were in that one, but
there was a few in that one.
Definitely not
swapping over.
Definitely not what we were expecting of the Cowboys when they did start the season strong, off the back of what they managed to do a couple of years ago. And Gold Coast having started the season as possibly one of the worst NRL sides we've ever seen.
Yeah,
over the first 5 or 6 weeks.
They've found
they've
switch.
Yeah, they've slowly started to. Obviously, they picked up the win against
it's kind of been
the Warriors on
Tino's gone, which is a little bit gnarly to say. Well, that's been the catalyst, that win.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of shocking performances after Tino left, but yeah, definitely starting to.
Fafita's playing good footy. Bruno's playing really well. Fullback's definitely his best position. There's no doubt about that. He played awesome there on the weekend.
Keep Bromo and the number 1 jumper, and if you need to, get Campbell into the 6 possibly.
Yep, you could run around there at 6, I think.
Once he's back involved, but I mean, I guess you could put Brimson at 6, but yeah, I think with the kick returns and just sweeping out the back, he's shown his best footy, that's for sure. And the Gold Coast as well, they're playing their best footy with him at the back, so that's probably no coincidence as well. But David Fafita, the man you just mentioned,
also playing some very good footy at the moment.
Good enough to attract the interest of a vacant James Fisher-Harris contract on the salary cap for Penrith. He's gone and met with Ivan Cleary in the last couple of days.
Did I see Roosters involved possibly, or was it?
So I think the 3 clubs that sort of it makes sense and have the cap room to pull it off are Penrith,
Yep.
Obviously, with Fisher Harris leaving, they'll be looking for a big name signing. Roosters, they've got fucking like 4 million of their salary cap leaving.
Opening up, yep.
And apparently the Dragons might be in there with a little bit of a shout, but I think we'd have to probably get up close to sort of matching his salary, what he's on now at the Gold Coast, which I believe is around $1 million a season. Whereas you'd probably think that the Chooks or Penrith, depending on how much money they can scrounge together, will be definitely sitting as favourites, depending on Dave Fafita's priorities. But
imagine that, you see him out there in the
apparently the rumours are
Dragons.
$850 a year at Penrith. You go there, 3-year contract, win 2 or 3 comps, and then fucking go off and earn $1 million somewhere else.
Yeah.
Versus $1 million at Gold Coast, or as I say, potentially the Dragons or Roosters involved. I don't think the Roosters would have to push as high as the $1 million mark either, but that'd certainly be a tempting destination for one of the best backed rowers in the comp, and on his day, one of the best players in the comp, you'd have to say.
Yeah, one of my favourite players to watch, David Fafita.
Interesting to see where he ends up, because I think it is now, he'll be able to he's got a sort of early negotiation get out clause, so he can get out at the end of this year rather than, I believe next year might be a player option or something like that. So he's obviously out there getting amongst it, seeing what's on the table. So
he's playing some good footy. He's one of my favourites to watch, and so I've chucked him in there in with my bet this week. We've gone for a Titans 1-12 win into David Fafita, and it's going to get you 733.
Yeah, good stuff, good value, good omenry as well, with all the talk around Fafita. Pulled it off with the James Fisher Harris when it was his big signing news at the Waz, so I don't see why that can't come off. I've gone similar, 1-12 for the Titans, but Brumo's my try scorer. $8.44.
See, that shows you the form that Fafita's in, that he's more likely to cross the try line than Bruno, they reckon. So
you got to give the big man the ball when he's in form like that. If you get anywhere close to the try line, you just got to be feeding it to Fafita, surely.
Exactly. But that'll round off your round of footy, round 10 action. It leaves the Raiders taking the free 2 points this week. They got the win last week against Manly, although possibly maybe didn't deserve it either. Could have very easily just been a draw this one. So they'll take the 2. I'm sure Ricky will have them out there working hard over the next week. They may get a little bit of rest time, I'm sure, before they're back out there next week. Try and go 6 from 6, I guess. So 3 weeks in a row, 6 from 6 points. And sort of turn around. It's been another weird season for Canberra as well. They were my team that I backed for the spoon this year, and completely a couple of games where they're looking some of the best footy in the comp, and some games where they're looking pretty atrocious. So I'm sure they'll happily take this bye with both hands.
Yeah, 100%. 4 points over the last 2 weeks. If you include this upcoming round for Canberra, definitely a lot better than what they've shown over the previous few weeks leading into that, after what was, a pretty solid start to the season after you were bagging them for the spoon there. So it's been a very up and down season. A few players obviously very, very good in that comeback win over Manly, but never the best if you are going down 20-0 in the first place. So good stuff for Canberra, but also plenty to work on as well. I'm sure Sticky will be into them on that, but free 2 points for them. I guess that's probably us for the rugby league for this week. Time to move into the round ball.
Probably it, and the footy you are right now. We spoke about it before. a lovely 11:30 p.m. kickoff there Saturday night up against Bournemouth, and managed to get ourselves a win, which was even better. It's a 3-0 win, another clean sheet, which wrapped up the Golden Glove officially individually for David Ryan. Doesn't have to be sharing it with Pickford, so that's a pretty cool achievement. A really dominating first half, but not able to get onto the score sheet until that pen came along. Dubious pen at that as well.
Yeah, probably a little bit lucky from an Arsenal standpoint. Havertz obviously leaving his leg down a little bit there if you do slow it down. So yeah, plenty of arguing that it was him initiating that contact, but as Gooners, you got to take it. Saka slots at home. Makes it his best scoring Premier League season far.
I mean, a few pens involved in there, but you want to see him converting them after what we saw at the Euros. So I was sitting there happy enough at halftime. We go in 1-0 up. Really expected a few more goals in that one. We should have had a couple more, 2 or 3 at halftime. Really.
Yeah.
But we come out there second half. We see Trossard get himself another goal, which is good to see.
Yep.
A nice little finish, and then we had to wait till the 94th, 95th minute till we signed off and made it 3-0.
Yeah, it was 2-0 there, obviously in the second half. Trossard and Decky Rice, but yeah, wasn't as good as that first half. I don't think, to be fair, many of our performances in any half this season were as good as that first half. Obviously excluding the fact we could only put the ball in the net the once, but 3-0 on the day. Pretty solid defensively, but there was a couple of moments, like we were pretty lucky, I thought, as well. Not only the penalty, but to get away with what was some pretty soft contact on David Raya, and also at the same time sort of looked like Saliba was tugging on Phil Billings, so I thought that might have been looked at a little bit more scrutinously by the VAR, and maybe sort of tit for tat, you let the goal stand, I would have thought, or possibly even a penalty for Bournemouth. So they were a bit unlucky there, but probably wouldn't have changed much in terms of the result. I think that might have just switched Arsenal on at 2-1 at the stage, but certainly changes the momentum and puts a few nerves in the fans and the players. So unlucky for Bournemouth, but again, as Gunners, you got to take it.
100%.
You're going to be rolling goals out for the opposition.
Yeah, 100%.
You're not going to bag the referee or VAR too much for it.
But we take a 3-0 win. I went to bed happy, hoping, crossing my fingers, dreaming of a nice light orange with a black trim. Hoping that the Wolves could do us some favours, but a 5-1 win for City. Haaland scoring a hat-trick. He's trying to chase down that goal difference as well, so just in case there is a draw, they can still take the win. But we've just got to keep winning, and we've got to do that this weekend up against the Man United side, who just this morning shipped 4 goals to Crystal Palace in what's going to be up there as one of their most embarrassing defeats in a long time.
Yeah, one of the darkest days for Man United, you'd have to say.
Palace, also one of the most informed
times.
teams possibly in the league. They're playing some very good footy. If we have a look here, Palace, they've in their last 5 games they've won 4 and drawn 1.
Yeah.
That is beating United, drawing with Fulham, and then beating Liverpool, West Ham and Newcastle, and only the week before that they lost 4-2 to City. So they're scoring goals, Palace. They're sitting at only 14th in the league. They've had a good turnaround in the last month or so to sort of try and push up into the middle of that table there. But yeah, one of the darkest days for United, you'd probably say so. When you look at that Palace team that they put out, but Elise and Eze, Elise's playing some unreal footy, and Mateta as well, scoring the goals for them. So We'll be hoping that we can go out there and get ourselves a win. We tend to struggle at Old Trafford. I have vivid memories of
only 2 wins there since 2006.
Vivid memories of the old 8-2 result there in 2010. Probably got to be one of my darkest days as an Arsenal fan. So, ideally, we go out there, we get another 3 points, and who does City play? Fulham, is it?
Yeah, they've got Fulham this weekend. Spurs next Wednesday.
Come on, you Spurs!
Yeah, didn't think we'd ever be sort of singing that one, but come on, Fulham this weekend, and then we won't have.
Come on, London! We'll be saying, come on, London!
Spurs, but it's you take the win however it comes in this one, but surely you wouldn't think that Man United have potentially ever been in much worse positions going into a game like this, and that Arsenal have ever been in much better positions. So we probably do have to go in as favourites to keep it going, keep that Premier League race alive, and come away with 3 points. Hopefully it's not one of those performances that the United boys pull out of their hats. Hopefully Ten Hag goes to them this week and goes, lads, doesn't matter, I'm not going to be here this year, I'm going to Bayern.
We don't want to see City win the league.
Exactly, we don't want to see City win the league.
Let's go out there and ship 9
beat
goals.
Our record.
Let's go ship 9 goals, why not? And really throw City off. We'll take a 9. I'll take a 9-1.
9-1, and then the 8-2's fucking eclipsed them both ways,
exactly.
and they still scored a goal.
Probably.
Come on, the lads. Come on, Fulham.
Come on, Fulham. Come on,
and
Spurs.
if Fulham can do the job, it means Spurs don't have to. But if they can both do the job, that makes us a very happy Gooners, and we probably would would that mean
it'd be great if it was at Spurs' stadium. They go out there. I don't know how that would work. It wouldn't have worked yet. But if they could have gone out there and we could have won the league at Tottenham Stadium by Tottenham beating Man City, that would be pretty cool to do.
In the crowd.
All the Gooners. Probably it in terms of the round. Well, now there has been some darting action there over the weekend. Now we saw, I believe, I've been a little bit slow, I believe we saw old Mr. Littler take it out again there last week, but I might be wrong. Now, we've got a Players' Championship going on as we speak. We had one yesterday as well. Michael Smith getting his first win of the year. In all competitions, first one of the year in the Players' Championship. We saw Hopai Puha coming up against Josh Rock, one of the hot prospects of the last few years. He got a win yesterday morning, 6-4, and then lost to Willie O'Connor, I believe, in the next round. But it was Luke Littler winning last week. Now, I don't have a King Leoki this week, unfortunately. Not coming up on Ned's there for some reason, but they will be back with some Premier League action. I believe there's also some European Tour action over the weekend, and let's just have a quick check now. Players' Championship 10, I don't know if it would have started yet. It might be on. Oh no, not just yet. Who's Hope's playing? There he is. I thought I just saw Hope by Pula then. I'm looking down the left, you look down the right. I'm kind of double eyeing it, to be fair. There he is. Cameron Menzies. Definitely a winnable game. Get himself a little bit of money, which would be ideal. Up himself a little bit on that order of merit. It'll be good to see him make a bit of a run along. Is it this weekend that we see the Baltic Open? Because if so, another good opportunity there for Hopes to win some money. I know he's involved there. Premier League Baltic Sea Darts Open this weekend now. Tournament news, European Tour at 7 and 8. No, that's the I don't know if we've got a draw out for that yet. The draw might not have happened just yet, but it'll be good to see. Good to see Hopes getting involved in some darts over the weekend. Hopefully, a little bit of money on the order of merit.
Surely.
But I'm gonna sign off by shouting out Fred. First game of darts we've played against each other in a long while. He's still up in the early hours of the morning, about 6:30. We finished off our game for him over there. Already light there as we roll into summer in Sweden. Fred taking a nice 3-2 win. I believe he also knocked out his first 130 plus checkout this morning, our time, night time, his time. I think it was a 134, he said, and also had a 170 hit against him. So some good darts being had by Fred and Fred's extended darting crowd there in Sweden. So shout out to Fred, the flying skiwi Gabel. Good to get on the Yoki with you again, mate. But as always, to everyone, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. Remember to get involved in all your socials, give us a like, give us a 5-star, a comment, a subscription. Enjoy your week ahead, enjoy whatever sports. Winter sports well underway now in New Zealand, plenty going on Saturdays, the traffic is back, so enjoy. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yep, that sounds good to me. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.